heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings.
Yo. All right, look, we got a full house today. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate my brothers for joining me. We got my man Sean Mays, Rico Curry, Jared Lindsay. So check me out at the beginning, the introduction. I gave shout out to a couple cats who helped shape me from back in the day. And I mentioned my high school rollies, Sean Mays and Jared Lindsay. So you see them here. I did not mention my college homie, AKA cousin, Rico Bonito Curry.
Yay.
Look, I got my cats here. Look, you see my spirit is a lot different than last week. We've been all dealing with this whole George Floyd situation, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many other countless African-Americans who've been victimized by this whole injustice thing happening. So I came last week with a very heavy heart. Now, I lied to you all. I told you that these episodes will not be longer than 10 minutes. Now I got my brothers with me. We're going to extend this, share our perspectives on the latest events that happened. So without further ado, I want to do a quick round robin introductions. I'll start off with my man, Rico Curry. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Rick.
What's up, brother? Michael Steele, man. Much appreciated for having me today. May, salute to you, and Jared, salute to you, man. You guys are all my brothers. So I love what you're doing, Mike. Let me just go on record and start off with that. I love that you're having your voice to be heard. The youth, they need people like you out here leading, leading this campaign. And I love that you're not a hypocrite. You did this well before the outcry and all that. And we've been about this, and clearly our conversation is evidence towards that. But about myself, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, from Forest Park. My parents were very blue collar, both had jobs in there, trying to make life a little easier for myself. And their core philosophy was that education was going to move the needle for me to have a better future. So I did get a great opportunity to go through private schools. I went to St. Gabriel Elementary School, for those that may know that area in Glendale. Then I went to, study my butt off and got into St. Xavier High School. So I went to St. X, and then after that, I went to University of Toledo, where I think I met most of the group here at that time, even though we might have crossed paths in Cincinnati earlier. Graduated with a business degree, like Mike as well, and ended up flying out west to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, in the last couple of years, I've been working in the tech space. So I worked at Google, and then most recently at Airbnb, and then right now I'm serving as a career coach and career advisor at a tech boot camp, geared towards helping people join companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, and so forth. So I believe that's a quick brush up on who I am.
Well, Rick, you forgot something, dog. You forgot You forgot the good brothers of K.A. Psi at the University of Toledo. You got to shout out your peoples, right?
Shout out. It's a lot. I'm a part of a lot of groups, but I should slap myself in the face for that. I'm a very proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We are all about achievement in every field of human endeavor, and this is part of my endeavor. So thank you for giving me your platform, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for checking me.
Nah, no problem, bro. No problem. Let's go to Jared. Jared, you want to quickly introduce yourself, man, to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, Mike. Hey, I want to start off sort of like how Rico did. I love each and every one of you all, man. If you're watching this, tuning into this, know that we love you too. There's a reason and a purpose and a season to why you're watching this. But definitely, about me, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, all my life. Pretty much born and raised. Came out of Lincoln Heights, Zone 15. So pretty much majority of my life in Lincoln Heights. And I will say, from coming from just all of our backgrounds and being at this point, I want to add this. I would have never thought we would be on a platform like this at a time like this, coming from where we all of our different backgrounds and us being all looped in together and connected. So God is definitely working. But yes, going back to coming out of Lincoln Heights, I got both spectrums. Went to a private school in Wyoming. If anyone knows anything about Wyoming versus Lincoln Heights, there's definitely a different dynamic there. then transitioning over to public school to Princeton High School. Came out of high school. We went to Toledo. As you all know, my brothers on here did about 1 year at Toledo. Came back home after my freshman year. Had the birth of my first baby girl, Rosalind. She's 17 years old now. She's amazing. She's amazing. So she's looking at Howard University now. So I never thought I'd be at this point. But yeah, dropped the bombshell on y'all, Howard. Yeah, so we're looking at Howard right now. And then I have my second baby girl, Noelle. So she's 4 years old. She's a blessing. So I got two girls. And as far as me, just college-wise, came back, went to school, finished up school, Cincinnati State, University of Cincinnati, got my degree in social work, continued on, fast forward to my master's degree. I got my MBA, and now I'm pretty much in healthcare. So, but all my life, I've always had a stable household. My parents always being there. I have an older sister, instilling in me, keeping me on a straight line, and just giving me that love and support.
Yeah. Yeah, that's big. Appreciate that. And so I'm going to call him a nickname, Leno. So if you hear me reference Jared Lindsay, his nickname that we call him is Leno. So I was going to say, Leno, I love that you broke it down, how you just broke it down. And to everybody listening, it was a lot of start and stops along the way. What you heard him talk about was stepped away from college, handled his business from his family front, and then went back to school, right? So that's amazing. I know you shared a little bit of it as well. But that isn't always easy, man. So when you talk about leadership in your house, right? And I think Leno hit you with some of that, being able to bounce out of school, handle his family situation, and then go back to school while raising his oldest daughter to complete. And what he didn't mention, I don't think you mentioned this, was the MBA, right? So he took it a whole nother level and got the MBA on top of just the undergrad. So appreciate you, Leno, for joining us, man. Go ahead, Maze. What you got, brother?
Sure thing. Jared touched on something that, and Rico touched on something in their intros around like having stable households and how that helped shape them as men and how they're continuing that throughout their life. I won't say that I necessarily came from the most traditional stable household, but I did come from what I would consider a ton of love. And I had a lot of people throughout my life that really poured into me as a young person and continue to do so to this day. So throughout growing up from Cincinnati, started off going to Sycamore school districts, had the opportunity to move with my father in junior high school in the state of Washington. And then as a military man, got restationed. So then moved to Texas, decided that I would rather be home with my mom and help with my siblings. So came back, went to Sycamore High School, 9th, 10th grade, then hopped over to Princeton when we moved closer to family in Lincoln Heights. Ended up living with my grandparents, finishing high school, went to Toledo, had more fun than anybody should have at Toledo. So after a few years, I made the decision like, hey, this ain't where I'm going to be able to finish my degree, get my education, move forward, support my family. So came back to Cincinnati, ultimately ended up joining the Cincinnati Bell Phone Company, working there, grinding, then decided I need to get my degree. That monkey's on my back. So you'll see it right there, hanging on the wall. Your boy went back, got the degree, currently a contributing member to Corporate America, Fortune 500 company, leading a team of managers that manage people and in the credit card financial space. So things kind of came full circle for me, took a different path, but ended up where I always thought I would be at the end of the day.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff, Maze. And also, so the spirit of this channel was created with the essence of leadership, right? And just at the introduction, you see a variety of different forms of leadership, right? You heard Rico talk about his upbringing, transition to majority schools, definitely within the fraternity life. And then what we'll get into hopefully later is when he launched the brand and the entrepreneurial spirits and all of that. Went over to Leno where he talked about just his upbringing in Zone 15 in Lincoln Heights and all of the stuff, the richness that came from that, the family structure. You heard a lot of bit of that. And then the untraditional route, which led into Maze as well, which is, we all started around the same time, but we had different directions on how we navigated that whole college experience. On the other side of it, though, we all came out with that degree, right? So I love that Mays called his thing out. We all came out. So again, to some of the college students listening to this, you know, you may take the traditional route or you may take an untraditional route. Whatever path you have, you can still accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. And you have 3 different examples, 4, including myself, of ways that you can go about doing that. All right. So look, as we transition and kick this call off, so I invited my brothers to come on to do a couple. So I promised at the introduction we were going to have people come on and share this platform and have some rich dialogue and discussions around leadership. But we'll be remiss if we didn't talk about the obvious stuff that's happening at hand with George Floyd. So I invited my brothers to come on and talk about the George Floyd incident and some others. All right, so fellas, let's kick this thing off. So when you heard the news, and Rick, I'm gonna come to you first on this. When you heard the news about George Floyd, right? Whether you saw it, whether you saw the video, whether you heard it, somebody told you about it, whether you read it, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, so my initial reaction, I think like a good bulk of Americans, I have found out on Instagram, I woke up, it may have been like a Monday or something like that. It was earlier in the week. And I wake up and I seen screenshots first. So I'm like, okay, so, some BS done happened again, I'm like, it's just like one of those things again. And as a Black man, we're very immune to this. Like, and I don't mean immune in terms of insensitive to it, but we just know it's going to happen. We just expect it. But as I continue to go down, I started to see a lot of people posting on it. And then ultimately I came across the full video, and it was just terrible. So my initial reaction was just disgust, of course, but because we've been conditioned to see this so much and somewhat expected, if we don't have our hands on the wheel, sit correctly, speak properly, like follow the protocol, you can almost expect this to happen to you. So to be honest with you, when I first seen it, I was hurt by it a lot, but I didn't think 4 times over like would it ended up happening, because I didn't figure that people outside of our culture would understand. They would just say, oh, another Black guy who's probably resisting, he was probably doing something he shouldn't have been doing. I didn't expect this outcry to happen, but I did see it. I was extremely disgusted, and I was just like, man, when is it going to stop? And the answer to that, unfortunately, in my experience, has been it's never going to stop. So that was my organic, unfiltered reaction.
Yeah, Maze, you hop in. What was your when you heard it, saw it, read it? What hit you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a space where I can be honest and say that I am, and I was totally jaded. And I say that to say, when I found out, I'm pretty sure Brittany told me, and I was just like, that's what happens. And I moved on. I didn't have this visceral reaction where it's like, I can't believe this, and I'm so angry. A lot of the emotions I have now, I didn't have then. One thing that I will say that may have helped me deal with the reality of what was happening is if I had watched the video. I made the decision, and I was just trying to Google give myself like some markers on when I made this decision. When Walter Scott got killed, that's when I made the decision I'm not going to watch any more Black men getting gunned down while unarmed for whatever reason. I just can't handle that anymore. So I've made the decision that I won't watch those type of videos. Like, it's become a snuff film, if you ask me. And so it took me a little while to get to the point of like, wait, this is something serious. And one of the guys who on my team actually needed to take some days off after it happened because it was impacting him so much. And that's kind of what was a catalyst for me to say, let me dig deeper here. So I still haven't watched the video. I haven't even read like the transcript of everything he said while this was all going down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But the research that I have done has angered me to the point of like, okay, now we need to take some actions here. And it can no longer be like that jaded feeling of, oh, okay, that's what happens to us. Like, I want some accountability. I want some things that are changed. I want systemic and systematic and policy changes. So I think that I started off on the curve of that's what happens to us. And now I'm at the point where like,